Tealana Talks, SHAKEDOWN.
Hi guys, welcome to another edition of the Shakedown. Lots to talk about today between Renfield and Mario Brothers and Some Like It Hot and obviously Clown Town. And to wrap it up, I'll tell you about a few just weird, crazy things that I saw this week. So let's go. Okay, so I went and saw Renfield this week. It is the new Dracula movie with Nicolas Cage. It was 90 minutes of fun. I mean, it was 90 minutes. It was fast-paced, it was short, it was to the point. I really enjoyed it. It's silly, it doesn't take itself too seriously, and I don't think it'll be turning into a cult classic or anything anytime soon. But I just have so much faith, like I said last week, with the new movies coming out, because when I go see a movie, I just want to escape. I just want to have 90 to 130 minutes of just pure escapism where I don't have to think about anything in the outside world and I can just enjoy and relax. So it was really fun. Obviously, it's comedy gore, so if you're not good with blood and stuff like that, this is definitely not the movie for you. But I thought it was good. Aquafina, they had they had an Asian character, a woman kicking ass, like everything that, everybody these days wants, and that's the way to do it. You don't have to add in woke ideologies. You just simply cast a character that makes sense in the role, and you put them there and let them shine, and I'm glad they did that. And Nicolas Cage was fun to watch. I haven't seen him in anything in a hot minute, so yeah, overall, I mean, there was questions left unanswered, and it was absurd to say the least, but it was enjoyable. It was fun. I would recommend it for anybody that obviously can deal with gore and kind of laugh at it. I saw Mario Bros. And I never really played Mario Bros. Growing up. I guess once or twice I did, but I was a PlayStation, Spyro, and I killed it at Crash Bandicoot girl. So I never really played Mario Brothers, but obviously I know what it is. I know there was some backlash like with Republicans because Rainbow Road and it's supporting LGBTQ plus IA and all that stuff, and whatever. Both sides want to bitch just to bitch. Obviously, Rainbow Road is a part of Mario Bros. Even somebody that doesn't play it knows that. And I could tell in the movie all of the Easter eggs that there were. And I think people that played the game probably really, really enjoyed it with all the Easter eggs. So I thought it was great. It was so fun. It was short. It was colorful, lovely, kid-friendly, adult-friendly, but of course it didn't come without backlash. A lot of people are upset. Well, the alphabet community is upset that Chris Pratt was playing Mario because they thought it should be a real Italian person, X, Y, and Z, and of Chris Pratt's affiliation with the Hillsong Church, which has come under fire for not being LGBTQ plus friendly. I'm not saying that's correct. They can believe whatever religion they want to believe as long as they're not hurting other people. And I am here to tell you, words don't hurt. You can't go around, and we'll get later we'll get into this with Elon Musk and a journalist interviewing him about hateful speech. But just because something hurts your feelings does not make it wrong. Everybody needs to grow a little bit of thicker skin and get the fuck over themselves. But anyway, we'll get to Elon Musk later. But with Mario, the original actor Luigi from I think it was in 1993, the live action movie. How do you say his last name? His name is John Leguizamo. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Obviously, I know him as an actor, but I see his face. I know him, but I don't know how to pronounce his last name. But he says he's boycotting the movie due to lack of a diversity in the casting. And to that I say, okay, bye. It's a fucking cartoon. Get over yourself. I don't know. People are complaining that it's an all-star cast, and you don't need all-star casts for cartoon movies, etc. But they're just doing a job. that's what they are. Acting is a job, and they're doing their job. And I don't know what to tell you. It's a cartoon. Don't watch it if you don't want to, because it already broke box office records, and it brought in 94 million from international showings, and so far 678 million in global totals, which surpassed Ant-Man in just 2 weekends. So don't go see it. It's doing fine without you. Just to let you know, there are 2 post-credit scenes, so definitely stay for those, or just Google them, because the second post-credit scene is 3 seconds long, and it is a lot to wait through all the credits, if you're just on a tight schedule, like I usually am. So, I'm assuming there's going to be a sequel. They're going to create, a movie kind of universe out of this story that they told, and it hasn't been announced yet, but one could only assume, especially since it nailed it at the box office, and with that second last post-credit scene, it would be strange if they didn't have a sequel. And then I went to Broadway this week, and I saw Some Like It Hot. It was such a fun time. We scored amazing seats. Thank you, Rich, box office guy, for hooking us up. And I'm just a sucker for tap dancing. I loved all the tap shoes. I thought they were brilliant. I thought the acting was great. The music necessarily didn't stick out to me, besides the Some Like It Hot. Like, I don't remember any other tune from that show, so I feel like the music was more of a background instead of moving the story along. It was a long show. I had fun, and it didn't feel like the show didn't drag. The show didn't drag, but it was long. So I don't feel like the music necessarily pushed the plot, but overall it was fun, glitzy, high energy. Once again, tapping, amazing. Bouncy, fast-paced, and it definitely kept me entertained. The people sitting next to me had seen it multiple times, and I see why. It was fun. It was a fun musical. They definitely brought in woke ideologies about gender fluidity, but it doesn't make sense in this period. It didn't make sense for it to be in the 1930s about the long-term prospects, for being gender fluid and a person of color being married to somebody in the 1930s. Like, plain and simple. This is what I don't like when people are trying to insert their woke ideologies, is if you're going to be doing something in a time period, I personally think that it should be placed in that time period with the values, if you will, of that time period. Like, they just made it seem like, oh yeah, any blacks, whites, they can all get married to each other. Anybody can be transgender. Anybody can do this. And I'm happy that we're here now. People obviously can just change their gender like that nowadays if they want to. Obviously, a lot of boys dress feminine and like girls, and they paint their nails and they wear eyelashes, and a lot of girls are dressing more tomboyish. Like, I get it, that's the thing on today, but we're also in 2023, and this is set in 1930, so it wasn't a big deal, but it definitely just felt a little... I just felt like maybe they could have stuck to the movie a little bit more, instead of the one character basically realize it never cleared up if he became a transgender and he changed, like it just never cleared anything up. And for as long, if they were going to add that in, I want that story to unfold and see what happens later on in that marriage. I used to love the movie. I mean, I'm sure I still do. I have to watch it again. I haven't seen it in years. Obviously, I love Marilyn Monroe. So I'm definitely going to give it a watch and see how it compared to this Broadway show. But go see it. It was so fun. And tap dancing is just such like a lost art, I feel. So it was definitely a joy to see anybody tap dance because it's phenomenal. So, on to Clown Town. Woof. Okay, so I guess there's an app called Giggle. And I looked it up. I had no idea what it was. And I looked it up, and it says it's an app used for women to find roommates, freelance work, and friendship groups, etc. So this is a problem, but I don't see how to get past this because I think they're just doing the best they can. But it uses AI to determine if you are female. But the problem is that it does have a little bit more trouble identifying people of color and trans people. Well, if you were born a man and you're becoming a woman, then yes, the AI is probably going to look at your features because men have different bone structure, bone density, everything. Men are different than women. And so if AI is looking at it, AI is taking from what it knows, and it's going to determine if you're a woman or a man. And if you're a man, the app's not going to let you in because it is for females. The black thing is a problem. Obviously, AI does need to get better about recognizing people of color. And that's an issue, but supposedly the technology is 95% accurate most of the time, and according to their data, people of every race, color, creed, everything can use this app as long as you are a woman. Not a trans woman, a biological woman. It's the right of the founder to create an app designed for women. We have Grindr. Nobody's complaining that app is designed for gay men. The app is designed for gay men. So why would a lesbian get on Grindr? I don't know. Maybe lesbians are on Grindr, but from my understanding, Grindr is strictly for gay men. And guess what? Nobody cares. Go have your own app. Please. Please have your own app. I want you to be in a safe space where you know that people are here for this specific reason. I think that is fine. I think it is fine to have a WAP. Woo! I think it is fine to have an app for females only. Not everything has to be so inclusive for everything. We are allowed to have our own spaces. You want to join a book club if you didn't like to read. So the owner wrote on Twitter, I created an app for females, a place where women can connect, support each other, and have a voice in a much needed male-free environment. Yet all the media cares about is in relation to its males. In case anyone was wondering whether or not misogyny is alive and fucking well. And that, oh my god, there's a bee. Oh my god, get it, kitty. Oh my god. Don't sting yourself. Ooh, okay. I'm scared my cat's gonna get stung. Kitty, be careful. Well, he'll figure it out. So anyway, I agree with Grove. Women's rights are being stripped away for biological men. That is not okay at all. I feel bad that people suffer from gender dysphoria. I truly do. But if you are trans, then that is your category, since the LGBTQIA+ communities loves to stick everybody into a category. And they do. You have to be in this box, you have to be in this box, and you have to define yourself in all of these different ways. And whatever, that's the box you're in. If you guys want to be in boxes so much, that's the box you're in. Why are you so upset that women have their own spaces? It doesn't make any sense. You couldn't and shouldn't join Grindr if you're a heterosexual female. The space wasn't designed for you. Why would you want to be in a space that's not designed for you? Just to cause drama? Because that's what's happening. You're causing drama. There's plenty of trans sites out there. There's plenty of help and support for you. and your community. And this isn't a segregation thing. This is, at what point do we put our foot down and we say, no, this is not okay. This app was designed for biological women, and we don't want men in the space. And I'm sorry that you identify as a female, but you were born male, and so you don't qualify to be on this app. I don't want to sound harsh, but at what point do we stop erasing biological women? It's not fair. It's just not fair. When creating something, you choose a target audience, and that isn't racist and that isn't transphobic. Yes, I think the AI should get better data and figure out how to more accurately place people of color. I do not know why AI is like that. I'm assuming when they're doing tests, it's mostly on white people. I do not even know how AI works, honestly. But it seems like the technology they're using is the best technology they have right now, and they'll just keep on improving. And I feel like their next step is improving identifying people of color, and it's not identifying transgender women. Plain and simple, because it is a woman's app, and it's a female-only space. So also in Clown Town this week, we have an obese travel social media influencer creating a petition to demand better accommodations for larger passengers. Now this boils my fucking bones. So her name is Jalen Cheney, and she is from Vancouver, Washington, and she started a petition on change.org demanding the FAA to protect plus-sized customers. She and her partner claim they suffer discrimination and discomfort while flying, saying that other passengers will refuse to sit by them. What about those other passengers' comfortability? If your ass is taking up 2 or 3 seats and I bought a seat, those seats are already tiny enough to begin with. Trust me, I do not like flying. Every time I get on there, I don't know if my ass is getting fatter or the seats are getting smaller. I think it's a little bit of both. But at the end of the day, flying is not comfortable. They care about money. They're going to squeeze as many people in there as they can. The seats keep on getting smaller and smaller. They want you to upgrade to first class. They want you to spend more money. They want you to do this. So anyway, my thing is what about the other person's comfortability? I'm sick and tired of everybody being like me. It's just really disheartening that people don't take care of themselves and then demand stuff for free. That is not how the world works. If I were a bodybuilder and I worked so hard and I was meaty and I was buff and I didn't have the neck, you know how they get. I do not like that look, but people do it, and they're huge and they work at the gym and they work really hard for their bodies. And maybe they don't fit in a seat because they're too big, in the sense that they just have all this fucking muscle and they're not comfortable. But you don't hear these people complaining. You don't hear these people saying, oh, I need an extra seat for free because I don't fit into it. I like the aisle, or I hate the aisle seat. I like the window seat. So guess what? I fucking pay a little bit extra to get the window seat. I'm not demanding a free window seat. People with a little bit longer legs maybe pay a little bit extra to make sure they're in the aisle so they can stretch their legs just a little bit. Just because people are tall, they're not demanding that they need free extra space. And once we start making stuff for free for one group of people, then obviously, and then we have to start making things free for everybody. And then all of a sudden, everything is for free. That is not how the world works. We have to have some sort of exchange to keep the economy going. Plain and simple. So anyway, listen, every time I fly, I'm uncomfortable. The seats are getting smaller and smaller because that means the airline can get more money. They don't care about you. They don't care how fat you are. They care about money. So if you are obese, then you need to purchase 2 seats, or you need to do the work to lose the weight. Now, some people might say, well, some people have medical conditions where they can't lose weight. Okay, wrong. I get it. Like, maybe you start a new medication and it makes you retain weight, or it does make you gain a little bit of weight, or it makes it hard to lose weight. But when you are that obese, you have to work at getting there. Plain and simple. Let me know in the comments if there is a medication that makes you gain 200 pounds without, and you eat healthy, you take it, you have a dietitian, you work out, you live a good lifestyle. Please let me know if there's a medication out there, because I Googled it for a pretty long time yesterday, and everything says yes, like you can gain a few pounds because of a medication, like you retain water, but if you're 400 pounds, you did the work to get there. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be mean, but nobody is that big because they took a medication. I just can't believe it. I refuse to believe it. So if I'm wrong, please let me know your medication and your exercise and your eating schedule, because the math ain't mathin'. Plain and simple, the math ain't mathin'. And even if there is a condition that makes you gain hundreds of pounds, not every person has that condition. In fact, they probably let themselves get that way, and now they have medical conditions that make it hard for them to lose weight. So is that an airline problem, or is that a you problem? Because to me, that sounds like a you problem. And honestly, I feel like I can say this because I am fat. I'm technically considered obese. I don't like it, but big news flash, this body wasn't made by salad. I love beer, I love cheese, and that combination is not shrinking my waistline. Plain and simple. So no, you don't get free seats because you are fat. Maybe this should encourage you to take a few more steps a day and stop eating fast food and stop doing the Lizzo diet and stop glorifying obesity. Because by doing so, nothing hurts my feelings more than when I see these poor children that are morbidly obese. That is the parents' fault. And then the parents are morbidly obese. Children are not supposed to carry that much weight. And it just breaks my heart to see these little kids, because they're learning these habits at such a young age, and they're never going to get out of them. And then they're just going to be a part of the system. Just going to be a part of the system, demanding free shit, wanting free extra seats so their ass can fit into it. No. We got to start feeding our kids better. We have to start taking care of ourselves. We can't fix everything by demanding free shit. That is not how this works. That is just promoting everybody to get fucking fat. No. And last in Clown Town, this is my favorite. So this week, the BBC, the reporter James Clayton, made a goddamn fool of himself in front of Elon Musk. And I was dying of laughter when this reporter fell flat on his face, because he kept on trying to backtrack, and I just had no sympathy for him, because like Elon Musk said, he lied. And that is a problem. Everybody's out here just lying to themselves but with no information to back it up. So I'm not commenting on Musk's performance on the Twitter app because I know supposedly he laid off a whole bunch of workers and all that stuff. I'm not here. I don't know how to run a business with that big of capacity. Obviously, Elon Musk is a successful person, so I'm not commenting on any of that, but I was just entertained by the way the reporter lied and then couldn't dig himself out of the 6-foot grave that he put himself into. You know the saying, make your bed, now you have to lie in it? Well, he made his bed, and he was not trying to hop in that bed, and Elon Musk put his foot down, and I loved every second of it. So James declared that he has seen an uprise in hate speech since Elon Musk took over Twitter. So Elon simply asked James to name one example. He said, okay. So Elon Musk said, what do you consider hate speech? And James said something along the lines of, like some buzzwords, and something along the lines of anything that elicits a reaction out of somebody. But unless it's a call to action and it is physically going to break laws and be detrimental to somebody's health and well-being and family, then you just have thin skin and you're being a pussy ass bitch. And that's the nicest way I can put it, because I'm like, guess what? Yeah, my feelings have been hurt a lot. People will say mean things to me, especially when I was a kid. Now that I'm an adult and I've created my circle and I don't insert myself into other people's business, that hate has exponentially went down. But at the end of the day, you can't go around lying about things. And so anyway, the conversation went back and forth for a while until James was clearly embarrassed, and then he kept on trying to steer the conversation in a different direction. And Elon Musk just held his ground, and he said, well, give me an example. You give me an example. And he said, oh, well, I actually haven't been on the app for 3 weeks. And he's said, well, but you just said that there was a rise in hate speech. So which is it? So you're lying. There's not a rise in hate speech, or you just don't like what is being said. Hate speech cannot be considered something that you don't like. Plain and simple. That is ridiculous. Grow some fucking thick skin. So anyway, I hope that reporter learned a lesson. I don't know if his career is going to go very far with how much he bombed that interview. Like, he needs a lot of pointers on how to be a successful interviewer, because Elon Musk just destroyed him. That's the problem. People consider anything they don't like hate speech, and we just cannot start categorizing everything. This cancel culture is truly getting out of control, and Elon Musk proved that with one simple question. Give me an example. Give me an example. Simple question, and nobody can answer it because they're too busy trying to insert themselves into other people's business and say buzzwords and be woke. And Elon Musk wasn't having it, and I was like, my man. So in daily life, a couple crazy things. The first one is silly, but it just blows my mind. I was walking to work, and a man bent down, and he was tying his shoe, and his whole entire butt crack was out. His whole entire ass was out, and it was a windy day. And I'm over here thinking, do you not feel that your ass crack is hanging out? You don't feel that. You're not embarrassed by that. You don't care about covering up your butt. I don't know. It's so silly. Like, I wasn't necessarily offended by it. I was like, oh my God, a butt. But why do you want plumber's ass? Why do you want your butt crack hanging out? Why don't you get pants that fit you? Just very, very confusing. Why don't you pull up your pants before you bend down? And then once you bend down and you can feel your whole entire ass crack out, you say, oh, let me pull up my pants. There's people around that maybe don't want to see my booty. I don't know. It was very strange. I don't know. I wear high-waisted pants, and even when I bend down, I'm always like holding the back, like, is my butt gonna fall out? People are weird, man. I guess they do not care at all. And then I watched a lady. She wasn't homeless. She wasn't mentally ill, as far as I could tell. Like, she was just a normal old lady, and she was walking towards me, and there was a hair tie on the street. Mind you, New York streets. That shit is disgusting. And there was a hair tie on the ground, and she walked past it. So I know it wasn't her hair tie, because it's not like she dropped it and then she picked it up, which still, like, leave the fucking hair tie. They cost a fucking $1. And then she went back and she picked up the hair tie and then walked away with it. Are you that desperate for a hair tie that you have to pick up a hair tie off of the dirty streets of New York? I don't know, it blew my mind. It's like when I see people like come into the restaurant and I know that they took the train or the subway and then they get a sandwich and fries and they're eating with their hands or licking their fingers, and I'm like, after I'm done throwing up with myself, I just think, ew, what germs did they just eat? I don't know, it freaks me out. It freaks me out when people don't wash their hands before they eat with their hands. Especially after you've been on the New York subway or you've just walked in New York air. The trash air. Oh my God. And then when we went and saw the Broadway show, Some Like It Hot, we saw these two girls and they had these really cute, sparkly black outfits on. Saturday night, they were feeling themselves. But then you're watching and the girl's walking and something looks off. She wasn't wearing shoes. She was walking barefoot. Times Square, New York fucking City. I have something to tell you. You're fucking nasty. Not only could you get hurt, not only do people throw their nasty ass trash and break glass, and there's food, and there's rats, and there's dog shit on the ground, but think about what your feet are collecting and then going through your... It is truly disgusting. Never walk barefoot, especially in New York City. The bottom of her feet were black. The bottom of her feet were black. That is not sexy. Her outfit could not save it because she was just nasty at that point. She was just nasty. And it was like 7 o'clock. Like, it's not like it was 2 a.m. and you're drunk and you're not even thinking about wearing your shoes anymore because your feet hurt. You're just nasty. Ugh, I just could not. I could not get past it. I could not believe it. And then the last thing, which is actually pretty fucking scary and I was very upset about, is I went to the bank before I was going to work, and while I was walking to work, I saw a stroller in the middle of the sidewalk. And so I was like, okay, it's weird. Maybe there's nobody in the stroller because there was no parents around. Like, people are just walking back and forth past the stroller, not even caring. And so I get to the side of the stroller and there's this cute little Asian girl in it, just like looking around, probably 2 years old. So sweet. And so my instinct was to fucking take the child and take the child to the fucking fire department or something, be like, I don't know where this kid's parents are. But I was like, okay, I'm not touching a kid. So I just kind of stood next to the stroller, but kind of far enough away, and I would just, was like on my phone, but like looking at the kid. And I'm scoping out because it was a little Asian kid, so I assumed that the parent was Asian. So I'm just looking for some Asian people that might look like this kid's, father or mother. And I'm just like looking around, making sure the kid's cool. The kid wasn't crying or anything. But I was there for a hot second. And then an Asian man starts walking, or I saw an Asian man. I saw at the end of the block, there's like a mailbox. And I saw an Asian man at the mailbox. And then he had like put mail into the box. And then he started walking back this way. And I was like, my gut tells me that's the dad. And sure enough, the dad came back to the stroller and then started pushing the kid away. That is bad parenting. It is New York fucking City. Sex rings, child sex rings are a real fucking thing. And your kid could get snatched from anywhere. I easily could have snatched that kid, and that man would have never known. His kid would have just disappeared. The hustle and bustle of New York, people walking by your child. Why couldn't you have fucking taken the stroller to the mailbox? This is my question. Maybe there was somebody in the shadows lurking and watching your kid, but I fucking doubt it. You left your kid in the middle of New York fucking city. So you didn't have to push her stroller to the mailbox, which was 40 feet away? Clowntown. Who would ever do that to their child? I understand, you want your child to have a little bit of independence and maybe you let them walk a little bit in front of you, but like you have your eye on them. This man did not have an eye on his child. This man did not have an eye on his child, plain and simple. Oh my God, I had to get to work, but I really wanted to insert myself into this situation, but also the kid ended up being safe, so hopefully, this never happens again, or hopefully, I don't know what the situation was, but it did not make me feel good. It did not make me feel good that this little girl is just sitting in her stroller, looking around. That kid could have fucking got out of her stroller. It's not like she was strapped in. She could have gotten out of her stroller and she could have walked across the street and got hit by a car. And then guess what? You have a dead child because you needed to walk to the mailbox by yourself. I was just extremely disappointed in humanity at that point. And that's not the first time that a kid has just been roaming by itself. This was years ago, but I went to pick my sister up from her job when she worked at our sister restaurant, and I saw a kid run across. It was an Indian kid, and I saw him running, like about to run across the street. And at that point, it's like I had to grab the kid. Like I couldn't care about if the kid bit me or crying or screaming or somebody blamed me for something crazy. I had to pick that kid up, and I walked the kid into the restaurant, and I saw an Indian woman with like 4 other kids, and I assumed it was her kid, and I was like, "Is this your child?" And she just said, "Oh yeah." I said, "Your child ran out of here and was trying to cross the busy road, lady." She had no care in the world. And it's just really sad. It was just really sad to see. You're a parent. Start parenting. You chose to have kids. So start parenting. Ugh, I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. This world is a mess. I feel bad because I feel so negative. I feel like I want to like talk about something nice and fun, but everything is just so saturated and ludicrous right now. Everything's ludicrous right now. Just everything. So hopefully next week I see some good, fun, cute things. I have a big weekend coming up, seeing a whole bunch of Broadway shows, some concerts, hopefully some more movies. So I'll definitely keep you updated, and I'll see you next week for the Shakedown.